It's awesome to be back home. You know, since we've got the job, you know, I've been up here multiple times, was able to come to the playoff basketball game. Maybe I shouldn't have come because they were rolling until I showed up. Obviously, be able to come back and do the graduation commencement was a very unique experience, and very appreciative that I had this opportunity. And then I just thought this made a lot of sense for Penn State and the Caravan. We were already getting out across the state, but I also thought it would be great for another one of our state institutions, East Stroudsburg, which I'm very proud of. So, you know, I thought this would serve a dual purpose for both communities. So glad that we're here and glad that it worked out, and more than happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
James, obviously, you know, playing under Coach Dowds back in the 90s and everything else, and the influence he had on you as a football player is evident, but, you know, express to us the influence he had on you as a person and as somebody who now is going to take what you learned from him and some of his ideals and philosophies into coaching.
Yeah, you know, both my parents are deceased, and Denny has been, you know, a father figure for me for a long time. Even when I went to college, Dad wasn't really around a whole lot. So Denny and Twig in a lot of ways. Denny being a defensive coach, was the head coach, so with me he was kind of more nurturing. Twig was kind of the crazy uncle that made me mentally and physically tough. But those guys had a huge impact on me. They really have. Denny has been a mentor, you know, as a father, has been a mentor as a person, been a mentor professionally. I remember when I first got into coaching and came back to East Stroudsburg, you know, I lived with Denny and his wife, Judy, for, I don't know, a couple months. And, you know, we'd work all day and then come back. You know, Denny still tells the story all the time. We'd sit back on the back porch and eat Klondike bars at night and just talk. Talk about coaching, talk about kids, talk about the profession. You know, I think the thing, you know, two things that I probably took away from my experience here more than anything is Denny had a sign that he always used, and I still use in a lot of my presentations, and it is opportunity is now here, and it's written without any spaces between the words. And if you put it up, you have a choice of reading it two different ways. Opportunity is now here, or opportunity is nowhere. And you know, that always kind of stuck with me about life is about how you perceive it. And you know, you can look at things as opportunities, or you can look at them as challenges or difficulties. And that always stuck with me. It really did. And then the other thing is consistency. I think Coach Dowds is an unbelievable example of consistency and perseverance. You know, you look at this coaching profession, there's very few people and places that have had the consistency that this program has had. And I think that's why, in the long run, you know, they've been pretty good. You know, I think that's a big part. You look at the consistency on the coaching staff as well. And Mike Terwilliger's, I've been here, I think, 28 or 31 years or something like that. My college roommate, Mike Santel, has been there, I think, been here for like 15 years. Frank Lupin's been here, I think, for 75 years. Yeah. I mean, you know, the other thing is the way Denny worked. Denny had all 365 days of the year planned out. The third Thursday of the year, Denny was going to say the same thing that he said when you were a freshman. I mean, it was like clockwork. And at the time when you're a student, maybe you don't appreciate that. But years later, I think that consistency was a big part. Was a big part of why they've been able to do things. So he's been a great mentor. They've always come and visited us as a staff, every place I've ever been. They've always road tripped and did professional development. I'd always come here in the summer. Me and my family would always come to the Poconos for at least a week. And I'm not a real big, per se, vacation relax guy. So I would always just kind of find myself over here in the office, hanging out with those guys, talking concepts and plays. And then I would always find myself at Rudy's with Mike Santella getting a pork roll with cheese, maybe a Cajun chicken.
Super dog.
Huh?
The super dog? Do you
No, the super's not healthy. Okay. The pork roll with cheese is a much healthier option. But yeah, you know, I got great memories of this place. You know, how beautiful this place is in the fall with the changing leaves and the water gap and all that. I had a great experience at East Stroudsburg.
James' reaction of it. I mean, how far was making it to this point, away from your mind?
You mean when I was making $1,200 for the entire year coaching the wide receivers at Kutztown, filling soda machines up in the morning on campus, and the players used to make fun of me. And I lived in Joe Ludwig, who I still stay in touch with. Joe came out and visited me at the last place I was at. I lived in Joe Ludwig's. I rented a room from Joe. No, I mean, no idea. No idea. I started this because I wanted to get my doctorate in psychology, not because I wanted to coach. And it just kind of went from there. But no, I mean, to think 20 years ago, if you'd asked me that I'd be sitting in this position right now, I would have had no idea. But, I think what we did do is wake up every single morning and try to be the best we possibly could and learn and ask a lot of questions. And I've always been a passionate, driven, motivated guy. As a player, I wasn't nearly the most talented guy. The guy in the back of the room, Jimmy Terwilliger, who's one of the best high school coaches in the States and one of the best coaches in general, I had a few records here when I played here because it was important to me, and I tried hard. And Jimmy came in here and broke every single record that was ever, I think every record there's ever written. I think they even created a few new ones for him. So I've always been a kind of a passionate, driven guy, but that's kind of it. But so I kind of approached my career the same way, but I had no idea that I'd be sitting in this position right now.
So, when you dream